Now let's try to write a formula, a more complex version of existing formula to calculate exact prepayment amortization within the months, right? So for Jan it should be 15 days and in April it should be for 15 days. And Feb and March should be for the entire month. So let's delete these formulas first. So we'll be writing if start date is less than the month end date, and again we have to make sure we also give equal here. Why? Because this date can be 31st of that particular month. So in this case it can be 31st January 2017 in actual. So we might have paid actually on 31st January 2017. So we have to make sure we can consider that particular condition as well. So if this is true, what we want? We want 15 days amortization. So how do we do that? We have to minus 31st January 2017 from the start date here. This is the number of days here, and we have to multiply it with the daily charge. And if this is not the case, we want 0. I press enter, we got 444. Now before I track the formula, I have to change the references. So for C8 it's a column, so we have to freeze the column. G is row, we have to freeze the row, column here and column here. Let's copy it. And as you can see here, we got incorrect figures here. Why? Because this formula is not functioning correctly when there is a full month's prepayment to be amortized. So in here it should have been 28 days for the month of February into daily charge. So it should have been 774, and accordingly for March it should have been 31 days into daily charge. It should have been 861. To get these particular figures correctly and also in dynamic way, we have to update our existing formula. So how do we do that? So here we'll be adding a one more condition. So we'll be using AND in conjunction with if here. So AND condition, if you add, you have to have a multiple logics, and all logics in AND condition has to be true to get a true value. So let me explain you with an example here. So instead of only if, we'll be using if and AND. Now you can see multiple logics here. Now this is our first logic, which is, as you know, we are comparing the start date with the month end date. This logic, and I'll be adding one more logic which will help us to calculate our monthly amortization correctly. So I'll be comparing this date, February, minus start date, and whether it is less than or equal to number of days in that month, right? So that is our second logic. So if these two conditions are true, so this is the first logic which we compared in our previous formula in January, and this is the new logic where we are comparing the difference between the two. So Feb 28 Feb 2017 minus 15 Jan 2017, if that is less than or equal to H6, which is 28 days. So if this is also true, we want this original calculation which we did. So it was nothing but month end date minus the start date. Otherwise we want a monthly amortization, which is nothing but number of days in a month and daily charge. And I press Ctrl Enter, and I got the accurate figure we are looking for. So before I drag this along, let me just freeze the references. So this is H is a row reference, C again is column, H is row reference, H is row, F is column. I press Enter. I'll copy this in March and also in April.